Easily find, book, and manage your travel nursing assignments with the AMN Passport app. Download today. ICU or ER, who do you think runs the better codes?
Let's see. It depends on the doctor. I think it depends on the nurses and the code,
Yeah.
and it depends how bad the code is. So,
Yeah. Fair.
um, um, I've been in codes where the an ER nurse who's brand new, she's real green, he or she's real green, and they kind of freak out. And I've had doctors, ER doctors, who they're good docs, but they don't really get the critical care. I mean, the critical patients all the time, so they'll kind of not freak out, but they're very
Freeze
spastic.
up.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So,
Mm,
but when you're in a room with a bunch of experienced nurses, then it's very smooth. For example,
yeah.
we just I took a 2 week break because I had an eye surgery a few weeks ago, and then on my first day back from work, we had a real level one come in, and my ER is not a level one. Um, but he was so unstable that we were the first hospital to get him before we sent him to our level one trauma. So what ended up
Mm.
happening, this guy, he uh, kind of a weird story. He stabbed his father to death, and then he lit himself on fire, and then stabbed himself in the carotid. He
Okay.
it was a weird,
Lord.
yeah, it was the weirdest thing. So we're getting this call that he's going to come. The flight nurses were going to come and bring him, but we were trying to divert into UMC because we don't have the resources or the surgeons or docs to get that. And so, well, like if he goes now to UMC, he's going to die en route. So we had, which is a 40 minute, no, about a 20-minute flight from where I'm at to the trauma one. I'm sorry, so you to trauma one. Um,
Mm.
um, so he didn't have those 20 minutes. So we brought him here. That everyone's going in, and 10 minutes prior to arrival, one of the more experienced ER nurses who was charged uh, gathered everyone in the. We were already in the trauma bay, and she's experienced. She sat there and said, "George, which means you're gonna man the MTP or the mass transfusion protocol. Uh, Another nurse, Adriana, you're gonna help hold pressure on the carotid, and then there's another nurse who is gonna give IV fluids and whatnot." And she was just
Yeah.
giving direct orders right before they
Clear
came.
expectations. Yeah.
Yes,
Clear
and
rules.
the doctor came in, and he's experienced, so he sat there and gave us a pep talk. Long story short, he said, "Look, like this is something we've never really gotten before, but remember ABC. If anything, remember you focus on the patient. Try to get rid of your emotions, um, and kind of just helped us calm down." So when he came in, they were holding carotid pressures, kind of pulsating blood everywhere. He had third-degree burns all over his body. He did not look good at all. Um, but it went by very smooth. We were in that room for about 4 or 5 hours until he was stable enough to fly out, and I had no idea what happened to him now.
Mm.
But he was at that point stable enough to fly out. So, but we were given those uh, direct communication from the more experienced nurses who have
Yeah.
dealt with crazy things before. And I've seen that in ICU too when I'm with a bunch of experienced nurses. When someone is coding, where we get someone from rapid response who is coding, they wheel them down. I've had nurses who are very calm, cool, and collected, and are able to um, focus on the tasks that they're assigned. And
Yeah.
I've dealt with nurses who kind of freak out.
Yeah.
So we've gotten to the point where, or I've gotten to the point where, if I'm in a dire situation or in a code and I see a nurse freaking out or kind of being real spastic, I tend to just, like just step out of the room,
Mm.
and because sometimes we don't need six nurses in there. You might need two or three, RT and the
Yeah.
doc. So
Yeah.
so it goes both ways, I guess.